In episode 1 of season 2 of House of the Dragon, we are treated to stirring monologue about the duty and the honor of manning the wall that protects all of Westeros from an ancient evil far back in the history of Westeros. The music is a variant of the House Stark theme from the original series, and one could definitely be forgiven for being hit with the nostalgia of that great show in its heyday. A lottery of sorts is held, where 10 members of House Stark will be chosen to serve with the Night's Watch, and we've seen an unknown member of the Stark family who draw lots for what can only be called a life sentence of selfless duty to uncaring 7 kingdoms. The speaker of this monologue is none other than Lord Cregan, the young Lord of Winterfell. Escorting Jace at the wall, he tells Jace that House Stark has a sacred duty to oversee the manning of the wall, taking a far more active role in its guardianship than even Ned Stark in Season 1 of Game of Thrones. When Jaehaerys insists that Cregan send an army south to support his mother's cause, questioning the purpose of manning a wall whose primary purpose has not been realized in thousands of years, Cregan reminds him that his great-grandparents, Jaehaerys and Alysanne's dragons, mighty scions of House Targaryen, refused to cross the wall that Jace was deemed insignificant in the grand scheme of things. He does pledge to Jace a small army of greybeards, noting Jace's change of attitude when he looks at the vast, untamed lands beyond the wall. In a more humble fashion, in face of this grand sight, Jace asks, what does the wall protect the 7 kingdoms from? With a stern face, Cregan tells him, death. Notwithstanding revisiting the sacred honor of House Stark and memories of the old series it invokes, we must ask the question, who is Cregan Stark? Why is he so important? Why does he connect to the audience despite his one brief appearance this season? And how is he important to events unfolding far to the south of Winterfell? Beware, for from here there be spoilers. Cregan Stark was the son of Lord Rickon Stark, and he became Lord of Winterfell at a young age. His early lordship was influenced by the northern tradition of ruling with a strong sense of duty and independence. However, the details of his early life, including any direct power struggle with his uncle, Bernard Stark, are not extensively detailed in the canonical sources. The story of Cregan Stark's power struggle with his uncle is indeed part of his history, though the specifics might vary depending on interpretation. After Rickon Stark's death, Cregan's uncle Bernard Stark assumed the role of regent, as Cregan was still a minor. As Cregan came of age, Bernard was reluctant to relinquish his control over Winterfell, leading to tensions between the two. Cregan eventually asserted his authority, leading to a resolution where Bernard was removed from power, but he was not exiled or severely punished, demonstrating Cregan's sense of Stark honor. We will only briefly comment on the extreme effectiveness of the army of Winter Wolves dispatched south by Cregan, for that tales is quite an account of its own. But needless to say, the Northman army did what Northmen do and killed many of their foes, to say the least. The courtship of Cregan Stark and Alice Blackwood is a significant yet often understated chapter in the closing days of the Dance of the Dragons, specifically during the period known as the Hour of the Wolf. Cregan Stark, the formidable Lord of Winterfell, arrived in King's Landing with a large northern host in the aftermath of the Dance of the Dragons. His presence was crucial during the Hour of the Wolf, a brief but intense period when the North held sway over the fate of the realm. Stark, a man known for his stern honor and unyielding nature, had come to the capital to deliver justice to those responsible for the chaos and bloodshed that had ravaged Westeros. Though he had marched his own forces in opposition to King Aegon II, he was enraged at the cowardly poisoning of Aegon by the conspirators at court, visiting final justice on many of the conspirators. Alice Blackwood, a member of the ancient and noble House Blackwood, caught Cregan's eye during his time in King's Landing. The Blackwoods, known for their fierce loyalty to the old gods and their deep ties to the north, made Alice a fitting match for the Stark Lord. Despite the grim circumstances surrounding them, their courtship blossomed, perhaps in part due to their shared cultural values and mutual respect. In a bid to end any further conflict, Alice Blackwood offered not only succor in her lands for all the old warriors of the north that had marched south with Cregan, but her hand in marriage as well. The courtship between Cregan and Alice played a role in solidifying alliances in the tumultuous period following the dance. Marriages in Westeros have often served as political tools, and this union was no exception. By marrying Alice Blackwood, Cregan Stark not only secured an alliance with a house that had remained steadfastly loyal during the conflict, but also ensured that the North would have a stronger influence in the post-war power structure. But as can be the case of many such unions, it was not all about political alliances. Cregan's courtship of Alice was marked by a sense of respect and admiration. He saw in her a reflection of the qualities he valued: strength, loyalty, and a deep connection to the old ways. Their marriage was not just a union of two powerful houses, but also a symbolic bridge between the North and the Riverlands, two regions that had suffered greatly during the war. In the larger context of the Hour of the Wolf, their marriage represented a moment of transition. Cregan's marriage to Alice signaled his eventual departure from the political stage of King's Landing, allowing the realm to begin healing from the wounds of the dance. It marked the end of Northern dominance in the capital and the beginning of a new era, where the scars of the Civil War would slowly start to heal. Thus, the courtship and marriage of Cregan Stark and Alice Blackwood were more than just a personal affair. They were a key element in the resolution of the Dance of the Dragons and the stabilization of Westeros during a time of great uncertainty. Cregan Stark continued to rule Winterfell and the North effectively for many years after the Dance of the Dragons. His rule was marked by stability and adherence to Northern traditions. He is remembered as one of the most notable lords of Winterfell, with his legacy influencing how future generations. As for why so many fans hailed the appearance of Cregan on the show, it is a fairly simple explanation. His character represents the honor and unflagging dedication to duty and loyalty represented by House Stark, seen most clearly by Jon Snow and Ned Stark. He isn't some selfish southern lord grasping and scheming for power, but a great leader that has shouldered the burden to protect a land that does not deserve his protection, all in the name of fulfilling the most ancient duty of House Stark. The stirring sight of a heroic man answering a higher call as everyone else embraces their privilege and abandons their duty appeals to the hero in all of us. Cregan is the man of honor we all fall short of, but would do well to aspire to.